Just a couple of things I want to say before I tell you a little bit what's going on in D.C. First off, when you pray, I hope you pray for Dale Barcher, because he does a wonderful job for this organization. And then we have my friend and our governor, and Carol talked a little bit about her. But when you pray, would you please pray for Christy and Brian and that whole family, please, and a round of applause for them. So you know that 103 times in the Bible, it reminds us not to be afraid. Do not fear. And I got to be honest with you, there are times I'm in D.C., and that is hard advice to take from the big guy. Last week, you probably followed it. We voted on the Women's Health Protection Act. Now, ladies and gentlemen, we have had a national struggle with life for a long time. But we have never, and I mean literally never, had a bill like that on the floor of the U.S. House. So many different states have had their voters or their legislators step forward and enact different protections of life. Maybe it's a waiting period. Maybe it's a notification period. Maybe it's some of the counseling that Harold was talking about. This bill, ladies and gentlemen, and you probably know this, would have evaporated all of that overnight. It went substantially further than Roe v. Wade, substantially. Of course, I voted no. Not enough people voted no. Then when we've got things like the Hyde Amendment, which people who have been a part of the pro-life community, as well as those who've been opposed to it, on the other side of the issue, have been coming together for decades, ladies and gentlemen, decades, to say even that if you believe someone should have access to an abortion, we should not offend the sensibilities of this nation by allowing taxpayer dollars to be used to fund them. That was something that we could agree on. 80% of people in Congress, from the right or from the left, could agree on that. The Hyde Amendment is under attack. It was not included in the president's budget. And so I want to tell you, and I know we've got a full agenda and I need to get off the stage, but I want to tell you why I know that Harold Cassidy's right when he calls this a calling. It's a vocation. We're not just talking about a clump of cells here. This is not a privacy issue. Many of you know that my wife and I have 3 sons, and they're great sons. Most of the time, they're great sons. But between Ben and Owen, we had a miscarriage. A lot of you have had this experience. The tears that our whole family cried, not for hours, not for days, but for a really long time. These were not the tears that one cries because of a mere medical procedure. These were not the tears that one cries because a growth has been removed from the body. These are the tears that one cries when you have lost a life. And I just have to tell you, being in a room with people who understand that, who feel that in every fiber of their being, that makes it a lot easier, ladies and gentlemen, for me to go back to Washington, D.C., and to heed the advice of the Creator to fear not. There is work being done, and it will continue to be done. Thank you.